And we're back with another daily market update, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Fabio, and thank you for tuning into this market update where I dive into the major dollar pairs and, of course, gold. Now, before we dive into the market itself, let's have a quick look at the major news updates for today. So, first of all, Trump had a call with Trudeau, which ended in a somewhat friendly manner. Again, this is bearish for the dollar and bullish for everything pretty much else. This was yesterday. Trump tells Hamas, release hostages now or there will be hell to pay later. Well, obviously, if they do not release the hostages, this could cause gold to push up higher. The US weighs a 1-month delay of Canada-Mexico tariffs on automobiles, on cars. This has also caused the Canadian dollar and the Mexican peso to gain strength into last night's Asian session. Today we're seeing a retracement on the dollar, but obviously we did see a lot of strength yesterday from Canada and the Mexican peso. And then last of all, Germany is to issue new bonds at higher yields. So when the German bond issuance takes place, so this is the German 10-year, then you will see that investors anticipate an increase in supply. So bonds, what are they? They're literally debt of the government, right? So it's government debt. So what happens is that the yields rise because the prices themselves drop, because there's an inverse relationship between the price of bonds and the yield that you get on them. So this reflects lower demand for existing bonds in anticipation of new issuance. So if you don't understand what I'm just explaining to you, make sure to go onto ChatGPT and to read it. So this has been causing EURUSD obviously to push up higher, and the euro is now in an area of weekly supply. So this is a weekly area of supply. This is a buy up for the strong sell down. And I'm still extremely blessed and grateful to see that we finally have been taking out all the highs. I must say, a lot more impulsive than I expected, but it has taken place. Now, obviously, after such a large candle, we do expect at some point in time a retracement to take place. Well, there are two areas within the current market structure that I see this to be kind of like logic in my head. So what I'm looking at this point in time is this weekly area of supply over here, which obviously broke this trend line down. This is the buy before the sell down, and this is also an imbalanced candle. Furthermore, we also have a higher area of supply, which is again as well a buy before a sell down. So I'll be looking for potential pullback trades on EURUSD in the very near future. Now going into the daily time frame, we need to use the daily to understand when that pullback will take place. So looking here to the left, what I see here is an internal high, and what I see right above that internal high is an area of supply in the form of a buy before the sell. So what you simply want to be doing is when you're trading supply and demand is you want to be stacking these areas of supply and demand to make stronger zones. So we know, okay, we have the outer zone, so the outer layer of the onion. Then we have the inner layer, which is your daily area of supply. And then I'll go into the 4-hour time frame, for example, and identify my area of supply over there. So my 4-hour supply zone would then, for example, be this over here. And this is how you kind of like refine your areas of supply into precision, because this is then the highest probability zone from where you could potentially see a push back in towards the downside. Now, obviously, it doesn't always happen that we retrace that nicely, right? So what I personally always do is I do this, and that is just simply wait for a reaction at any point in time. So obviously, we've had this massive overextended move, and it's now very clear this is here your demand zone, right? Which liquidated this low. So this is a very nice demand zone again in the future to look for a potential bounce from. But this is also a nice area of supply to look for a potential bounce back down from, because we don't expect the market to just continuously push up higher. So we have this daily area of supply, and we have this liquidity high over here, in my opinion, which is right below that area of supply. So now what I'm waiting for is pretty much the liquidity to get grabbed, tap into that supply, and then I'll be waiting for kind of like a corrective pattern, which then tells me, okay, we're ready to head down lower. Obviously, you don't want to be catching a falling knife, or you don't want to be trying to stop a rocket that's going to the absolute moon. For who knows, the moon is over here, and I know my ugly is a little bit, or my drawing is a little bit ugly, but for the same reason, we could just see like one big straight impulse in towards the high. So what we now need to wait for is the confirmation that we are actually ready to drop. So that confirmation for myself could happen at any point in time. We could just start reacting from this weekly area of supply, but for myself, the highest probability area is definitely that daily area of supply with that internal liquidity, which I prefer from there to look for a potential pullback trade from. So what I will then do is I'll look at the 4-hour time frame, and I'll look for the change of character to occur, right? So what I want to see is I want to see, for example, like a little push down, then a little push up again, then maybe a little push down, one more push up, and then, for example, a break of market structure. Then you form an area of supply, and then you go short. So I'm personally not, because I get a lot of questions on a daily basis. Ooh, should I start getting into a sell position? I'm looking here at the 1-hour time frame, Fabio, and I want to get into a sell on this bearish candle over here. This for me is just very like not smart, because again, the 1 hour time frame is just not strong enough, in my opinion, to understand if a market like of this or an impulse of this size is ready to start pulling back. So I'll just be focusing on the 4 hour mainly, and then when the 4 hour starts to show me its hand and it wants to start pulling back, then we'll get in on the lower time frame trend back down in towards that daily area of demand, for example, until the 4 hour fractal structure shifts again, because who knows, maybe Euro USD is that bullish that it doesn't need to retrace all the way back down in towards that daily area of demand, which is over here, right? So the market will not always give you that perfect pullback all the way back down in towards that, say, that 618 fib retracement, right? So what could happen is that the market starts pulling back and then boom, it just shoots up again. So how are we going to recognize that that shoots up again is going to happen? Well, what we have here are these little areas of supply, or these imbalance candles, for example, and then what you could see here is that the market, let's say, gives us that little downtrend and then boom, it shifts again bullish, and then we're ready to look for a long position again from that area of demand, because at this point in time the weekly fractal structure is still extremely bullish, and the dollar doesn't seem like it really wants to slow down too much. The daily is also looking bullish, the 4 hours also looking bullish, so that's pretty much that on the euro. Going into the dollar index, I mean, guys, I can keep on saying this, but I've been saying it for weeks. The analysis was so on point for the dollar. You guys have been knowing it, who watch these market outlooks religiously. Thank you if you do. This 105.420 level was my key level, guys, my key level of liquidity that I wanted to see grabbed, and now we've just absolutely smashed through it. So we're getting kind of like into the middle of the overall range that we have over here. So do keep in mind, most of the times when you retrace into a 0.5 fib, that is kind of like a, let's say, a natural level of support and resistance. You can kind of see it as well over here. It's naturally where the market tends to kind of like slow down or react. So I'm looking for that to happen as well here on the dollar. But eventually I'm looking for it to start pushing lower and lower. Obviously, I'm not saying it's just going to go down now in one big fat red juicy candle. Obviously it could, but ideally you want to see kind of like trends or like a downtrend form on it. But who knows, maybe we just see a small pullback and then boom, straight away it pushed down again. I'm just looking at this as my overall order flow over here to kind of like support that push down. Looking at the dollar itself, I am definitely looking at still a lot of further downside. I'm looking here at Trump's presidency in the past and at this current moment in time. So the 2 years before Trump's first election term or whatever, you saw the market was consolidating for around 2 years. We see a fake out in towards the highs because everybody expects that bullishness from Trump's presidency. And then what you see is that we saw that overall drop in towards the downside. Now again, 2 years of consolidation, fake out in towards the highs, and now we're seeing that drop. So I'm expecting the lower bound of this dollar index to get touched in the upcoming weeks / months. Is it going to happen in one fat red juicy candle? I don't know, but it would be nice. But let's say for now, this is obviously the supply zone. This is a very strong area of supply. And the reason being is because it liquidated the internal high over here. So it grabbed liquidity and then it sold off. So I'm just going to be looking for more sells. Highest probability sells are inside of this area of supply, but I'll be monitoring the lower time frame to see if we get any trend shifts to continuously get in on more short positions. Personally, at this point in time, I'm looking at this. I was looking at this area of demand. Didn't really do anything. I'm now mainly looking at this old area of demand over here, which is in line with that 0.5 fib. Let's see if that breaks. Then I think all hell will break loose on the dollar, and we're definitely just going to mirror this push up with a push down as well. So this is kind of like the last area of support for the dollar, around that 103 to 104 level. If that breaks, then yeah, for me, all hell will break loose on the dollar. Going into AUDUSD, AUDUSD has been pushing up higher. I mean, guys, yeah, I'm like, I can keep on talking about it, but you guys know it who are here in the market updates every single day. Such a clean analysis overall. You guys know it. The monthly time frame, we are at a key level of support on Aussie dollar. On the weekly time frame as well, we grab liquidity underneath that weekly low, and then what do we see? We see the weekly change of character. So after an overextended push down, what do we expect? We expect a pullback. Then what do we see here? We see the push up, one more liquidation event here, even caught me out, and then we see the change of character in towards the highs. This, as I've been mentioning all week, is then your demand zone, this sub for the buy up, and then obviously you could have just longed it here at the beginning of the week. As I literally mentioned on Monday's video, I think, or Tuesday's video, you can literally watch it back and just target the highs for a very easy trade overall. Going into the daily time frame now, what can I say? Like, I'm just still looking for the further upside. Is it going to just push in one go? Not sure, but I am looking for more upside after taking these lows over here. For now, the daily fractal structure is bullish again. Yes, we are in a supply zone over here, so a lot of people are now getting into sell positions. So what this is probably going to do here is that you're going to see, okay, we're inside this supply zone and we're at like those premium fib levels, maybe kind of like some short-term bearish candles. A lot of people getting into short positions like this, but what I'm aiming for is obviously for it to push up higher. So let's see if that happens. If EURUSD starts to retrace, then Aussie dollar could obviously kind of like start pushing down lower as well. So I'm not really getting into any long positions at these levels, but I am looking very actively to still take out this high over here on Aussie dollar. But again, you need to understand that Aussie dollar is dependent on what EURUSD will do, because EURUSD is king. We've been taking out a lot of liquidity above these descending highs, and yeah, for me, there's still just liquidity above it, so I'm still targeting this high over here. For now, a retracement is just perfectly healthy, and I'm still going to be looking for more longs. Going into GBPUSD, GBPUSD obviously rocketed up higher as well. Currently inside where? Inside weekly supply. So here on the pound dollar, we have the weekly supply zone. Overall here we broke the weekly fractal structure. Very nice to see. This is now your immediate weekly demand zone. What can I say? We're now in a weekly imbalance, so looking for a potential pullback after grabbing that internal liquidity, very similar to EURUSD. So what I'll do now is I'm not just going to randomly start shorting it, but obviously we're inside this area of consolidation, which should cause the market to slow down. So I'm going to be looking at the 4-hour time frame and seeing if we see any form or sign of a trend slowdown. But for now, I mean, there's nothing really in my mind that wants to short this until the 4-hour would, for example, break fractal structure over here. But until then, up is the only way for myself here on GBPUSD. Yeah, I mean, the overall move for the week has already happened, so I wouldn't get into any GBPUSD buys here inside a weekly supply zone after taking this high. So I would definitely wait for at least this demand zone over here, obviously, to get hit, which is very kind of like self-explanatory, or for like at least a smaller retracement to happen on the 4-hour, then again a trend shift, and then look for more longs again. So that's GBPUSD. Going into NZDUSD, obviously my trade of the week, and I know a lot of you took it with me, so congratulations if you did. What can I say, guys? The analysis was on point for this as well. Obviously, it's at a weekly and monthly level of support, the same as on AUDUSD. And then what we had here was that weekly area of demand. And again, we're so close now to that weekly high. So proud of this position. Like, this is really my pearl, whatever you want to call it. So happy with it. Now, overall, we are currently reacting, obviously, to kind of like the extreme levels of this Fibonacci retracement. So a lot of people now getting into short positions. I'm just looking for more longs again on NZDUSD to take out these kind of like final descending highs. So yeah, looking for more longs on NZDUSD. That's all I can really say. Keep an eye on the 1-hour time frame. For now, demand is obviously in control, but do expect some liquidation events to happen or liquidity grabs, and then before moving up higher again. So yes, we could push up higher from this, but obviously the move has already happened. So I'm not looking to long this 1-hour demand zone. I would wait for a little bit more manipulation before really wanting to get into any long positions. But yeah, still eyeing up further upside to at least take out this high over here on NZDUSD, which is my immediate target for the very, very near future. But yeah, I mean, guys, we've been so on point with this already, calling it since we were over here at the bottom. So very happy to see. And then last of all, we have gold. So gold, it has been moving a little bit choppy yesterday. It's consolidating pretty hard, as we can see. I'm still looking for more upside, but yeah, pretty much as I mentioned yesterday, what does chop result in? It results in chop. So here we had chop, and now here we have chop. So expecting some form of a breakout soon, but gold is kind of like in a no trade zone for myself. When this happens as well. So now I'm just looking for it to break out, and then we get in on shorts, or if it breaks out up, we get in on longs. But for now, it's kind of like in a no trade zone. So yeah, nothing really there to be said. It's consolidating. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to get some hate for it. People always want to trade gold every single day. But I mean, yeah, what can you trade here? There's nothing to trade. It's just ranging. So stick to the extremes. So stick to the 25% level for buys, stick to the 75% level for sells. And yeah, trading should be as simple as that. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you a fantastic trading day. And yeah, we'll speak inside Discord. Link down below. We're also going live for the New York session. And thank you for watching.